Okay, so there is one documentary on Netflix right now that you literally can't escape, Sean Combs, The Reckoning. It's this deep dive into the whole rise and fall of a music titan, and man, it has left a trail of absolute bombshells. In this explainer, we're going to unpack the most explosive allegations, the crazy legal drama it kicked off, and how this one film might just be rewriting history as we speak.
And this is where it all kicks off. It's the documentary's most damning piece of evidence, really. This quote comes from Combs himself, caught on his own videographer's camera just days before those federal raids. "We're losing?" Just those two words. You can feel the desperation, and they pretty much set the stage for the entire downfall the doc is about to lay out for us.
And that's the real question at the heart of all this, isn't it? See, this documentary wasn't just some random piece of journalism. No, it was a calculated move in a long, bitter rivalry. So how in the world did this one film, produced by an old enemy, become the final word on Sean Combs' legacy? Maybe even more powerful than a federal court verdict?
To really get why this documentary hit like a ton of bricks, we have to go back. I mean, way back. This wasn't just some random exposé. It was the explosive finale to a feud that's been brewing for almost 2 decades.
And this timeline, man, it just lays it all out. It kicks off way back in 2006 with a diss track, classic hip-hop beef. But then it just simmers for years and years, with jabs on social media. The real game changer is December 2023, when 50 Cent announces he's making a documentary. Fast forward 2 years and bam, The Reckoning drops on Netflix, and a long-running feud turns into a global media firestorm.
So, what are these bombshells at the heart of the film? Well, the documentary takes decades of rumors and accusations and kind of organizes them into 2 deeply disturbing patterns. One of alleged brutal violence and another of, systematic financial destruction. The series lays out this just horrifying pattern of alleged violence. At the very center of it all is that now infamous hotel security footage of Combs assaulting his then partner. But the film doesn't stop there. We hear from a former assistant who claims Combs even slapped his own mother. It digs up these decades-old allegations and even connects Combs to threats of violence, like the alleged threat to blow up Kid Cudi's car. And look, it wasn't just physical allegations. The documentary paints this picture of what it calls financial abuse. The co-founder of Bad Boy Records, Kirk Burroughs, makes the incredible claim that he was threatened with a baseball bat to give up his 25% stake in the company. From there, the film presents this long line of artists, from the label's very first star, Craig Mack, to a recent producer, who are all allegedly left broke and just trapped in these awful deals.
But this one, wow. This is the allegation that just stops you in your tracks. According to Kirk Burroughs, Diddy allegedly charged the Notorious B.I.G.'s own estate for his funeral. To be the grieving best friend in public while allegedly profiting from his death in private, the documentary presents this as the ultimate betrayal, striking right at the very heart of the Bad Boy legacy.
Okay, so with all of these absolutely damning allegations, you'd think the legal outcome would be a total slam dunk, right? Well, this is where the story gets really, really interesting. The real power of this documentary is how it exposes this massive gap between the official court verdict and the story it tells the world.
Just look at this table. It lays the whole disconnect bare. On the left, you've got the legal reality from July 2025. Acquittals on the really big charges like sex trafficking and racketeering, but a conviction on 2 lesser counts. But then on the right, you have the documentary's story, which is all about the decades of alleged abuse that never even made it to trial. The film's argument is crystal clear. The legal system, with its super strict rules, just couldn't handle the full truth.
And we hear it straight from the jury room. Juror 160 says that the assault footage was unforgivable. But here's the kicker. She also says that domestic violence wasn't even a charge they were allowed to consider. So the single most powerful piece of evidence in the court of public opinion was legally invisible to the jury. Wild. But then, just to make things even more complicated, you have Juror 75, who says he believes justice was served 100%. Why? Because he says the prosecution's evidence just didn't meet the high legal bar for those huge federal charges. This is a perfect example of how the legal system can be seen as working correctly, even when the public feels like the real story was never told in court. And that brings us to the story behind the story, the absolutely insane legal battle over the documentary's most controversial footage. Those clips of Combs recorded right before his arrest? The second that trailer dropped, the lawyers came out swinging. Combs' team sent a cease and desist, screaming that the footage was stolen and violated attorney-client privilege. Netflix shot right back, saying it was obtained legally and they had every right to use it. This wasn't just some PR spat. It was a high-stakes legal showdown over who gets to control the narrative. And this quote right here from that contested footage is exactly why the fight was so fierce. Combs himself is on camera, seemingly plotting a media and propaganda war to fight the allegations. And the incredible irony is that his own words, recorded in secret, became the crown jewel of the very narrative he was trying to destroy.
All right, so let's bring it all home. How does all of this come together to completely redefine a legacy? With the legal trial in the rearview mirror, the real battle has moved to the court of public opinion. And, well, this documentary is the star witness.
You just cannot argue with a number like this. 21.8 million views in less than a week. That is not just a hit documentary, that's a cultural earthquake. The sheer number of people who have seen this version of the story means it has basically become the official public record of these events, whether that's fair or not.
And it wasn't just, a popular hit. The critics, they found it super compelling too. It got generally favorable reviews, with critics calling the evidence things like damning and horrific. That kind of critical stamp of approval just added to its power and really reinforced its impact on the public.
So we're left with this massive question, right? When a court of law delivers a mixed verdict, but a massively popular documentary presents a clear, damning story, which one wins? In the case of Sean Combs, it really seems like this documentary has become the final reckoning for millions of people. And it leaves us wondering, in the age of streaming, has the final verdict moved from the courtroom to our Netflix queue?